Hello. Welcome to our test podcast. We don't even have a name for it. My man.
Title.
I'm with my man Grim.
Hello there.
And you can count myself as for the king. But we'll get to the introductions later. Introductions, really? I said it wrong. But we're here for a podcast. What we're gonna do is talk about some funny
Stuff.
stories. Stuff. Yes, stuff.
Very interesting stuff. Yeah,
Very
love it.
interesting stuff. Yesterday, actually, just before we start with the interesting stuff, yesterday was cerebral palsy day, World Cerebral Palsy Day,
And it
uh,
still is for me,
and it
correct?
is it is still for you. Yes, that's the
Yeah.
thing. It is still it is for you. But yeah, it is World Cerebral Palsy Day for Grim, and it was for me, but it is over now for me. So that's unfortunate. But we're gonna talk about stuff like some stories, maybe some movies that are coming up and stuff like that. And yeah, just from there, we'll go on from there and just talk about stuff. I don't know what we're gonna talk about. This is like the weirdest podcast thing we've done. This is just a
We'll see
test.
where it goes, man. You just go with the flow.
Just go with the flow. Okay, well, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Um, you can go, honestly.
I whoa okay shot right at the blue, but I remember one story. This was like probably I'm gonna tell the story. You might have already heard this, Grim, but the story where like I was in grade 12. I think it was grade 12, started grade 12, and we basically what we did was how we always have those school elections for like who's gonna be captain and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Um, what we did was we went for school election, and I wanted to help my friend. Let's just name him Jeremy because I'm not going to say his real name, and he wouldn't like to say his real name out, in public because no one really knows him, and it'd be a breach of privacy. And my dog, hello. But yeah. So he was running for school captain, and then one of my other mates that I absolutely hate, let's call him Jack. He was running for president as well. Well, president, um, school captain. Sorry. And basically, what we did was, we basically found the next day. So we were talking about what we were gonna do and stuff like that. The next day, we were like, okay, we're gonna find some dirt on the other guy, Jack. And so we found some dirt. We were sitting at the canteen on the tables, and I remember one time I was sitting with Jack. I mean with Jeremy. Sorry, not Jack. Sorry, but Jeremy. And we were just sitting there, and Jack comes out of nowhere and says, like he starts yelling at the kids running the canteen, and so uh, my friend Jerry, oh fuck, Assad, let's call him that. It's easy just if I say his name. Assad was he got his phone out and started recording all the audio for like for the thing to like show the board because we had like like the people of like the table of people to see who it is, who's gonna run for president and stuff like that. We got to vote, not the whole school, just the people, like the SRCs and stuff, and the teachers. So the next day, we walk into the meeting, and um, we walk in, and we actually see him sitting down very nervously because I'm thinking, what's happened? And then he's realized we've got Asada was like, okay, can I bring something to the table? And the teacher's like, yep, sure, you can bring something to the table. And he's like, I have a recording of yesterday, and this recording does evolve around Jack and myself and his person that was helping him. So he was like, okay, so basically we have on his phone, we have an audio. He plays the audio and it says, oh, can you please give me more food? And he starts yelling it at the people running the canteen. And he looked very nervous there. And yeah, it was from there it felt like I was, we were in a Hamilton situation there. So I'm just going to say to my friend, the person that was running for school captaincy back then, you were never going to be school captain. Trust me. We had you there, and then that was it. Grim, do you have any stories? I mean, that was one of my favorites, like stunts of the year, like from year grade 12. But like, I honestly, it wasn't fun, but it wasn't funny, but it was. I feel like it was quite.
I mean, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind, if I had to think of like a story to tell, would be a collection of a few, because where I grew up was just outside of Boston, up in Massachusetts, a little town called Arlington,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a nice place. It's really quiet. It's really beautiful. Um, but the funny thing is, while I lived there up until seventh grade, it seemingly every few years there's always something really violent would
Oh.
happen there, which I feel like you always get with small towns. You get like the more violent stuff. I mean, maybe it's just because with cities there's so much happening,
Mm.
you just don't notice it. Um, I don't know. I think so. Maybe just like things stand out more. But I think the first one to happen, I must have been, ooh, I don't know, 8 or 9. And so I lived on a dead end street, and when you're driving down this dead end street, at the dead end, you can take this path and it goes to the right,
Mm.
and there's a park. And if you walk past the park, there's the subway station. Uh, yeah. So at that park, I would frequent that. I did up until I moved. Really nice place. But at night, it would close around 10. And one night, outside the front of the park, there was, I guess, a few homeless men. And they were doing some kind of like drug deal. From what I gather, that's what it was. It was some kind of drug deal. And one of them was in a like pickup truck. So it's all these like shady characters. Like
Mm.
the guy in the pickup truck, I'm pretty sure was selling it to them or he was buying it. I'm not really sure. I mean, I never found that out, but I'm gonna go with that he was selling it to them. And so there's this whole handoff happening, I guess. And someone gets disgruntled, some party gets angry, always seems to happen in drug deals. And they fire at each other. They both had guns, I guess, because I hear, I wake up to just pop, 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 and it's the kind of pop where it's like, could it be fireworks? I don't know. It's November. It's not the 4th of July. It's not anywhere near summer. And they sound loud. They sound like guns. But I mean, who would think it's up north? People don't really have guns up there. It's rare. I mean, I live down south now, so it's less rare. It's less surprising.
Mm.
Um, but the guy in the pickup truck, he got shot in the arm and the chest, and he floored it, and he ran over the homeless guy that was shooting at him and killed him, um, with the truck, like crushed him, and drove away. They found him because, I mean, you're bound to find someone in a hit and run situation, but it's just, that was, I don't know, maybe a football field's length, like 300 yards from my house. And it's just crazy, like an actual like drug deal gone bad with someone dying and someone getting shot. That, I mean, it's just mental to think about, but honestly, that's not even the best one. The other one happened a few years later, and at I lived very close to my elementary school, and I'm pretty sure it was fourth grade. And so during fourth grade, I played a lot of basketball outside in the basketball courts we had. and I was playing with a bunch of friends after school, as I did every day, and we hear police sirens in the distance, which, that's not rare, but for context, it's a school zone, and so school zones have obviously like speed limits, and the speed limit I think was like 15 miles per hour, and this guy comes flying by. I mean, it like just absolutely rocketing past the school, going, I think they said 95 miles an hour in a 15 zone. Um, I mean, like just the sound of this dude just rocketing past was crazy, and 8 police cars or so were just right on his tail, man, going the same speed past like our little school basketball court. And I mean, we're fucking eating it up. We love it. But like they go past and the teachers run out. They're like, "Hey, we need to get inside because who knows, it could end in like a shootout right next to the school and someone could get hurt." But I mean, as they're taking us inside, we hear, I think it was 3 or 4 shots, and later I learned on the news that, well, well, the people were driving, the cop, like one of the cops leaned outside the window, like his passenger window while his buddy was driving him, and he had like his rifle, like his AR-15, and he shot the dude that was driving 2 times in the back of the head, and then another 2 shots at the other guys. He didn't kill them, but I think he was just trying to like scare them in general. But he took out the guy that was driving, and so they crashed. The other two lived, but they had just robbed our bank around the corner, which never happened. I mean, it was like a small, shitty bank. You wouldn't think that a fucking heist, like a Grand Theft Auto heist, would happen around the corner in this like small town, but it did. And I mean, he got killed, and they crashed. It's like that.
Can
I
I
mean, it's
can
just
I
like,
just say something? Sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
like,
yeah, go
why
go
why
for
would
it.
they? Why would you like? This was in Boston, right?
It's outside Boston,
Outside Boston.
basically.
So basically, why would you rob a small bank
I don't know.
instead of like
I
a
think
big
they
one
got
like that?
I think they got like 45K. It wasn't too bad, but they didn't get away with
No,
it.
I
You
could
never really do.
I could tell,
I
but
don't know,
like,
man.
why would you? What? That's stupid. Why
I'm
would you?
really not sure. I really have no idea.
Oh, like honestly, like there were so many stories we could tell. I just feel like, oh, I've got so many in my mind, but like,
Yeah. There's just a little slice of what it was like to live up there. I mean, for some reason it's been less chaotic down here.
yeah.
I don't I don't know why. It
I
doesn't
mean,
make so
up
much sense
here,
to me.
up here, you don't get any like good stories like that. You mean you hear like the
Yeah.
occasional like, oh, he tried to hold up someone, and that's about it. But like
This is
that,
America, right?
this is
We
America.
we
Yeah,
love our bank robberies, we love just stick them up. Let's go. Put the
America.
money in the bag.
America is GTA point two. It's GTA two.
Better than GTA. GTA
GTA
way not
five
as cool.
part two though.
I'll never forget it, dude. Like just bouncing this fucking basketball and like 9 cars going like 9 times the speed limit just go past me. Like, all right, cool.
It's you and your
Just
friends
like,
just playing some basketball, and you hear like car. You'd be
yeah,
like, "What is going
we
on?"
loved it, dude. We loved it.
Oh my
It's a little bit
god!
dark when you realize that they like killed the guy and all
Because
that, but it's still pretty funny,
you hear the story, you'd be like, "Oh, I was there outside playing basketball.
right?
I was
Oh
there
man,
outside playing basketball." That's about it, though. I mean,
that's that's what came to my mind. That's what I could think of because those are some of the better stories I actually have.
I remember one story, and I think there was this one kid at school. Um, I was at a school. In this school, well, should I name the school? Did you name your school? Nah, I'm just gonna say the school. The school that I went to, there was a
Told them the town, so I don't, you wouldn't have to be an internet sleuth to figure out what elementary school.
yeah. But there was this school that I went to, and there was a really nice school, and the girls' school was right next to the girls' school was right next to us, so the boys weren't allowed to at lunch. They weren't allowed to like see their girlfriends or anything. Um, and I was like very new to the school, so they would show me around and stuff like that. They were very nice people.
Right.
And then the next day, so I was doing some things, and I was at the library reading my favorite book, and I think at the time my favorite book was probably the like a what was it? Well, some type of book. I don't remember what book, but it was I remember I remember when they said I overhear someone talking, and I'm like, okay, what are they gonna do? So I overhear them. I'm like pretending to put the book away, and I overhear them saying, "Okay, at lunchtime, we're gonna go see our girlfriends." And I'm like, do I report this in? Do I not report this in? Like, how do I do this? You know, do I want to be a snitch and report it in or not? So I left it. I left it. I left it. So I left them, and they didn't get into trouble. So the next day I walk in, and they said, so we saw you snooping in our conversation. I'm like, yes, you found me. So I'm like, I'm in trouble. I'm gonna get beaten up here. Uh, I'm gonna get beaten up. I've got to be blackmailed and stuff like that, and it's all over for me. The same day, uh, about lunchtime, the kids looked at me and they walked out the doors, and they're like, "Don't you dare tell! Don't you dare tell!" But there was this girl from the school. I was sitting at the library. Um, the same day I saw the kids walk out, because there was this one window right near the library where I was sitting, and there was a girl at the same window, like the next, because you can from where I was sitting, you can see the girls' school, and they're all the same age.
Yeah.
You can see the girls' school library as well, and there was this one girl just looking at me like, "Are you gonna?" She was like looking at me, and then looking at the boys, and then looking at me, and then looking at the boys. It's like she was like, "Are you gonna?" She was like looking at me up and down really quickly. I was like, "Are you gonna tell the principal or something?" I'm like, I like shrugged, like, I don't know, kind of thing. She's like, and then she wrote a piece of paper down and she said, "Please tell the principal." So I ran to grab a piece of paper, and I said, "Why?" And she said, she she wrote on the back. She said, "Oh, they hurt the girls," and I'm like, "Oh no." So I didn't actually think they were just there to see the girlfriends. They abused their power to go out and just do
Right.
stuff like that. They were hurting people, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So now realizing, I run to the person, and I run to the principal and say, "Okay, there's these two students that are going to the girls' school, and at lunchtime and stuff." And they're like, "Okay, all right, just calm down, explain to me easier," because I was out of breath and I couldn't explain well. Um,
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, okay, listen, two of two of these people are looking at me weird. There was this girl looking at me weird. She wrote a piece of paper saying help, and there's these two boys from our school in the same class. They go out and they go to the girls' school, and they're like, 'Okay, thank you.'" And I said to the principal, "Will you explain on who it was?" And he's like, "Nope, we keep it a secret on who it was." And the next day, they come to school, and we have a meeting, and they call up the two boys, and in front of everyone, in
Yeah.
in front of everyone, they get expelled.
Ooh.
So
See,
we
that's cool. They'd
see
never do that here in America. They
see
just fucking expel you. They wouldn't put you in front of everybody. That's awesome. I love that.
the thing is about the school was, you did something wrong. Like, there were so many rules about the school. You did something wrong, expelled. And I was like, okay, That's my second day at school, and I've just seen someone. I just got someone expelled. It's not. It's not an everyday experience, but you did it anyway. So the next day,
Limited power.
unlimited power. I was walking to the school, and the girl that wrote on the piece of paper, um, actually was like she saw me on the train, and she's decided because I was listening to music. I was listening to my favorite band. I think it was Emotional Orange. That's a really good band. You might listen to them like once or twice. I'm not gonna promote them or anything, but they're just a really good band. Um, I was listening to them, and I get a nudge on my shoulder, and I looked, and I was like, I actually jump out of my chair, and I'm like, oh, sorry to scare you like that, and she's like, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, and she was like the cutest thing to me, and I was like, oh, so we started talk like from there we just started talking and stuff like that. We would talk at the library on a phone call and stuff like that, and it was from there. It was the greatest thing, and it's just the the one day I remember, the second day at school, I remember getting someone expelled, and it was so funny. Oh, that was just too funny for me. Like, have you ever gotten someone expelled just from doing that? I mean, like, just second day at school,
So
getting someone
I
expelled.
kind of have. So they don't really like. No one's really big on expelling in the States. I mean, it's not like you don't really get kicked out of schools very easily. You usually get like three really big chances. So honestly, like three big offenses like that would take that much, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Um, the best I've done is like I've gotten people in like some actual like slightly like it goes past the school because the school has to report it to like the police because it's like it's something they can't just handle, because it's like serious.
Mm.
um there was like this girl in my middle school, and she was like, I think, a drug dealer.
Oh.
I think that, but like not with actual drugs. You know what a jewel is, right? Like the
Yeah,
little vape
those
stick.
little vape
Yeah.
pens kind of things. Yeah.
So her like sleazy boyfriend and a few of their friends, well, like classes were going on, people would skip their classes, so they would like just not go, and they'd meet these people, and usually in like a bathroom, in like the theater hallways, like places where teachers or students aren't walking around at that moment,
Mm.
and they'd have like a drug deal with these jewel pods and like all this shit because they knew people that were old enough to buy it, and then they just sell it for like three times the price. And one day, because I skipped a lot of middle school classes. I still passed, but I don't know, I didn't feel like showing up to a lot of them sometimes, so I skipped one. I was walking around because that's what I usually do, and I mean, I saw it happen, and I was like, I know what I just saw, and I'm like, I don't approve. Like, I don't care if you want to vape, that's fine, but like, don't like, don't become like a fucking like, don't become Walter White, Don't like have this empire of jewel pods. Like that's so stupid. And you're
Yep.
just like you're fucking with these like freshmen because there was always these freshmen that were buying them. No one else did because everyone else just knew someone that would buy it for them anyways that was old enough. So it's all these freshmen that's like getting in this really terrible habit and like spending too much money on these just jewel pods. And so I told the principal about it. And the principal basically like he got all the kids, in trouble, and then he had to report it to the police because it's it goes past just the school.
Mm.
And I don't think like because they were all minors, so they didn't get like you don't get jail time really, but I think they did a year of community service each, which is a lot. And I think they are I mean, pretty shitty record. Like it's gonna show up when
When you
you try
try
to
to
get
go
a
for a
job.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna see it. So not
On
quite expulsion or anything like that, but I busted down on some drug dealers.
on
Oh
on
yeah,
on school on your record it says had Empire selling jewels. What the?
had a jewel pod empire.
Had
Yeah,
a jewel called Empire? They'll be like, what?
I'm surprised they didn't call like the DEA. A huge raid on the school.
See, the thing is, with the like over here in Australia, we have like we have what's it called? We have um ugh, j- we have juvie. You know what juvie is, right? Juvie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember one time there was this kid. Um, and this was at the same school the two boys were. This was at the same school. Me and my friend and was he we were at we were playing sports and I could smell smoke and I needed to go to the bathroom, so I could smell smoke coming from somewhere, and I was like, I don't know where that smoke's coming from. He's like, I can smell it too. I don't know where either. And so I could smell like fire smoke, like lighter fire smoke, where you
Like actual smoke. So it's like not the kind of thing where you smell weed or you
no no no
smell
no 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 not like
actual fire.
like an actual
Yeah.
fire from smoke from a fire.
Yeah.
So I was
Okay.
walking to the bathroom, and because I needed to go, um, and
Right.
because we were playing soccer, and of course it was full time, and the coach was like, "Oh, good job, we won 7-1. It was a really good game against a different school, like from a different school. The girls were there to support us, of course, blah blah blah, and it was actually quite fun because, not realizing the soccer team that I was part of was like top of league, and so moving on from that, um, I was going to the bathroom and someone I could hear a laugh in the distance, like in the boys' bathroom,
Right.
and because I have um, like I had a special exemption to go into the like a different toilet, like not a different toilet, but like the disability toilets, of course, because you can have
Yeah.
exemptions to go there. Because if you don't feel safe in the boys' toilets, you can have an exemption, kind of thing. Um, if you don't feel safe, and that a lot of stuff happens in the boys' toilets, like a lot of stuff. So I don't feel safe at all. So I asked the principal like the next day after I found out about the two boys. I was like, yeah,
Right.
please, that would be great. Um, yeah, so I could smell smoke coming from there, and I'm like, so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go in there and see what's happening. Half of the goddamn half of the room was on fire. So
Oh.
I run out. It was like covered in smoke. I couldn't breathe, and I just started coughing. My friend, he sees me coughing and was like, are you okay? And I point to the bathroom door. He's like, that's where the smoke's coming from. He walks in, tackles the other guy. The bathroom's probably half up in flames, and runs towards me. He said, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." So we're running towards the principal, and the kid he tackles my friend. He gets away, runs away outside the school and stuff like that. And we basically told the principal, like, principal, listen, again, I'm the kid that got the two kids in trouble. Now there's a fire in the boys' bathroom. And he's like, okay, where? In the boys' bathroom. So we're running to the boys' bathroom, showing the where the fire is in there. The principal's like, okay, thanks, boys. And he calls the like 911 triple zero, because we call him triple zero over here. And what do you call him over there? 911, is it?
Yeah, it's 911.
Yeah. So we call the fire brigade over here, and it was, oh mate, it was like, it was so scary because, again, we got him expelled. Me and him got him expelled, and people, like, kids were starting to like kind of get scared of me because I was like the kid that would get him expelled.
The narc.
But they didn't know it was me, right? So they were like,
Right.
Who is it? So they were trying to find out who the kid, like I was a ghost to all the kids because they think, because I'm like, I told them it's like, ah, that's not me. I'm like the nice kid around here. I won't do anything to you. Trust me.
See, so I have a question. Do you know how the fire started? Like,
He lit toilet paper on fire. He lit the sink
oh,
on
okay.
fire and stuff like that.
That's what I thought. I was assuming like the kind of thing where you know how like lighters where you roll that the roller thing and it like lights the flint while you hold down the gas. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like those just
none.
shitty,
Yeah, yeah.
shitty lighters. Because I know there was kids in my high school a few years ago that would do that and like they you put a rubber band around it and you
Mm.
hold like so it holds down the gas so it will keep the fire coming out the other end and they'll just walk into a bathroom and drop it in the trash can and it starts a
Wow.
a pretty decent fire. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just
Our
remember.
people love setting bathrooms on fire for some reason.
It's alright. I mean, I just remember that one that me and my mate are like the snitches of the group, the ghost snitches of the group, because they don't know. And I was the captain of the sports team, and they're like, "Then it's not you, is it?" I'm like, "No, why would the sports captain? Of course, why would the sports captain be the snitch? And like, why would never be a snitch?" But like, students were like, oh, "Well, it's got to be someone. We're gonna find out and beat." Like, they said to like the group, they were like, "We're gonna find him and beat the shit out of him." I'm like, "Uh oh, time to hide myself." So I called in the next day. I said, "I'm a bit sick. I'm sorry. I can't come to school." They're like, "Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We'll tell the teacher and everything." I was like, "Oh, good. Cool. Cool." But like, oh my god, I remember that one time. That was just the greatest thing, just because I am called a ghost at that school. I'm just called the sneaky ghost at the school. It's so funny. Oh, I mean, have you ever been told anything like that? Like been a snitch to anyone and not been suspected at all? Grim,
Never snitched.
you've never snitched.
Like I reported the people doing the vape thing because I didn't think it was like right.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's
but
technically not snitching though. That's like just
yeah, I don't see it as snitching. I mean, I think it would make sense if people want to see it that way. I understand. Like I get
yeah.
that. Um, but like in the snitching sense that I understand, where it's like you know something and like you go and you actually like report it or whatever. Like in like that sense where it's like not something you saw, but just something you know or whatever. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
never done that. No, not really. Because surprisingly, I'm usually the one causing trouble. Like not like that kind of stuff where you set a bathroom on fire, but like I was usually in like those crowds where it's like something's going on. Um, like so I'm never like just like around the corner like see these things happening or hear something and like report it. 'Cause, I mean, I won't even lie. I don't care. Like I
You
don't give a shit. People
you
can do what they
yeah, you're
want.
like one of those kids that don't really give a crap kind of thing.
Nah, not at all. But if I see a drug empire, I'm gonna report it.
Yeah, a jewel empire, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna report this.
Yeah.
Nothing else, but just a jewel empire I'll report." You know. It's fun because being the local snitch, there was a bomb threat from one of the students at our school. He had a suspicious bag he was holding in his on his hand, like in his backpack, like he was holding it on his back for like ever. So the principal, he found out straight away. I didn't ask it. I didn't tell him. He's like, "Okay, buddy, buddy, can you please step outside? Everyone, please step outside. I'm gonna talk to him privately and look in the bag and see what it is." Um,
Right.
because we got a bomb threat the day before, and it was weird because we don't usually get bomb threats where we are or where we were. Sorry, and like it was really scary for the first time because me and my mates were like, "Okay, this is not us. This is we're not snitching on this. Is the principal actually got told this by someone before?"
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of scary because he walks out. Um, and says it's okay, and I'm like, oh, that just gets us more terrified because it says it's okay.
And then the entire school blows up.
No.
Huge flames,
No.
explosion.
Yeah,
Directed by Michael Bay.
you imagine the
This summer, Michael Bay.
Bay. Yes.
Giant explosion at school.
No, but yeah, no, we were like, oh, this is not the okay thing. Like, so the next day, the kid that had the bag was like, oh, it was just a backpack I was wearing, and it had like his like stuff, his like private like earnings, like stuff like that.
Private earnings?
Like, how do I say this?
That sounds,
Books,
that
like
sounds
private
like
books, you know, books.
private
And...
earnings to me sounds like, oh yeah, it's a bag of money from my drug empire.
No. But it was like books and stuff like that. That no, he didn't want anyone to read and stuff like that, like the diaries and it was just really like it was a really weird book and it was shaped weird and the bag looked really suspicious. So they were like, it's all good, stuff like
Maybe
that.
it was like you know how witches had those books where they can like they have all their hexes and their like weird like seance shit, like where it would be like put 3 frogs in your
Yes.
pot and mix in this thing and you'll get a curse. I
Yes.
tell you, he's probably like a witch, a vampire, something like that, and it's his little curse book.
He did wear a lot of like black and stuff like that. Was the
It's like
quiet kid of the
emo.
group. So he was like a technical emo. No,
He's
no
a
hate.
vampire confirmed.
No hate on emos or anything, but he was just one of them.
I used to be emo, so whatever.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, just on that, it's been amazing. Like the past like couple of years, like
Oh yeah.
with school and stuff, like that was amazing. Like all the stuff I could do. Like I feel like I could tell more stories, but I think, hold on,
I think that would be a good note to end on. I think
yeah.
we've
We've
said some
been
good stuff.
going for 30 minutes, so I feel like this is just a test run. So I think
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
we should stop here and then get it all on YouTube, and we should be good. So
Sounds good to me.
if you guys want to listen up for tomorrow, we might have well, not tomorrow. Jesus, why do it tomorrow? No, we'll just take a break, take a day break, and then we'll do it the next day. What we'll do, we'll also get interviews with some small streamers and ask them a bunch of questions. We'll ask a bunch of people. We'll do the holidays and the special holidays and stuff like that. Talk about that. We'll talk about films coming up and some stuff like that. But yes, I think this is a good note to add on, even though this is a test stream. But yeah, this is a good note. All right.